Hey everybody, welcome to That's Good Stuff. Usually the show where we review the most recent Hollywood or pop culture releases, but this one kind of went under our radar. None of us, for some reason, none of us went to see this movie or saw it when it came out. We are talking about Longlegs, which do you remember when it came out? I
Uh,
don't, in the summer, wasn't it?
March, wasn't it?
It
No,
was,
it wasn't.
it was a
It wasn't that
while
long
ago.
ago. I think August?
July.
No.
That's it. That
Hmm.
seems like I guess. Okay. So it is Longlegs and it's new cheap on rentals. So that if you haven't seen it yet, you can rent it cheaper than it was. So Longlegs was directed by Osgood Perkins and stars Mika Moore, I think is how you say her name, Nicolas Cage and Blair Underwood. And basically it's about special agent of the FBI, Lee Harker, right?
Hmm.
And so she's kind of new, and her first case, she goes, and her partner, kind of her partner, they were just kind
Gonna
of,
be partner.
yeah, they're gonna just put them together to go. They're looking for a suspect around the neighborhood, and she for some reason she feels like she knows the suspects in a certain house, so she tells him to go look there, and he gets shot. And she ends up capturing the dude. And during her debriefing, they kind of test her for like
That was weird,
pre.
like a,
Yeah,
a weird what is that movie? Blade Runner 2
yeah,
thing.
yeah. When they're yeah, so they test her, and she's got like this precognitive ability somehow, even though it's very light. The one officer or agent says because she only got like half of it right or something like that.
But it's
Uh,
it's a wide mark, like wide range of numbers. That's still pretty
Yeah, it's
crazy.
something. So they put her on this case, this long legs case. It's a serial killer who has a very specific MO where he like kills girl or
Families?
is it all girls?
I thought it was like family
Oh, he kills
oriented.
the families, but the girls have the birthday of the
Oh
14th
yeah.
or something like that. So they put her on the case, and she immediately gets creeped out by um, what she's researching. It turns out it has to do with the occult. Um, and this guy somehow able to kill families without being in the room with them. So they're going to try to figure out. So they kind of suspect that he has what do you call it?
Accomplice?
Accomplice helping him out. And so she also starts to feel like she has some connection with this case. Um, the movie, or like the first scene of the movie, shows a girl encountering the suspect, and it turns out to be her. We're gonna go into spoilers. We always do because I mean the thumbnail has spoilers on it, so you should already expect that. But yeah, so she's the girl from the first scene, and she just comes to find out that she's extremely connected to this case
That
through
was the
her.
creepiest scene in the movie.
Which
That
part?
that beginning scene
Oh
with
yeah, it was. I yeah. And she comes to find out that she's connected through her mother, um, who they have to kind of question. And also there's one more, there was a victim that survived, the lone survival survivor of this killing spree. So they go and interview her too. And then we'll talk about the ending a little bit later. But okay, so like you said, the first scene was pretty creepy. I didn't really know much to expect into this movie. It kind of felt like it was going to be Silence of the Lambs, kind of, because it's about an FBI agent and after a killer. It didn't really turn out to be that. It also throws that weird. Well, the this takes place in the past, right? So that
the 90s.
yeah, it takes the current days, the 90s, and then the early stuff's like from the 70s.
74 or something like that.
Yeah, and the scenes that are shot in the past look very like they shot it to look like old home movies and stuff like that. So I didn't expect that. And then it has a lot of like experimental like indie movie kind of shots cut into it. Like when she's searching or researching the stuff, it'll like cut to like, like a red
Hmm.
screen or like snakes, and you're like, anyway. So it has like this indie movie vibe to it that I really didn't expect either, and it throws in a lot of stuff. Like we said, there's the psychic connection. I don't think it even turns out to be a psychic connection in the end, though. I think it just has to do with her connection to the case, and then so there's that, and it is kind of an FBI, but it's also very, the ending especially is very supernatural stuff going on, and kind of that demonic like possession kind of feel to it.
I kind of
Um,
wish it was a little more ambiguous.
I do too, especially the end.
Mm,
I I wish it would have left it to like if there was really something supernatural going on, or if it was just kind of her
yeah.
mom kind of went nuts and was under the influence of this guy. I kind of wish it went to that, but it kind of goes overtly supernatural. And I don't think it makes a lot of sense either, though. But what do you think of how it was shot and stuff?
I really like the look of the film. I didn't really
Yeah,
care for like the older, like I don't really like when it's like that little
the box.
frames.
Yeah,
But I thought it looked good. Um, I like the tone of it. I thought they got tone really
it
well.
was very creepy.
Um, it was like quiet and dark and
Hmm.
like um just kind of like ominous
I
the whole time.
do, yeah, I do like how it was really quiet. There wasn't like much sound when she's like doing her investigation and stuff until something like pops up or something.
I I understand why it's dark, but it was a little too dark sometimes for me because my TV, I guess, I could see a lot of things, and I it's definitely a movie where you want to like look at like the corners of the frames to see if something's there. It's just in the dark, like the night scenes, it was pretty dark, and I was like, I can't really see anything but the main people.
Hmm.
But I did like that too. Like the whole time I was looking in the background to see if one of the either Longlegs or the now I forgot the word accomplice was in the background, especially in that scene where they're going into that barn and they just
Oh
linger on the
yeah,
door for like 2 minutes extra, and I'm like,
that
is he in
was
the window or is he in the trees? Where
that was a pretty cool shot when they're like walking through the barn and they're like they got the flashlights up to the ceiling and stuff. I thought that was a really cool shot.
did they say why his name is Longlegs or how he got the name Longlegs?
I
Because he was like
don't
a
think.
doll maker and it had nothing to do with dolls, and I was like, I never got the
Yeah, I don't
connection.
know. I don't know if it did. In the beginning, he calls him or he says he has his long legs on or something like
Oh, in that
that.
very first scene.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess it's just something he calls himself. So what did you think of Nick Cage? He was very he
I liked him for the most part, except for sometimes when he went over the top. Um, I didn't like when he sang that song for a little bit. I thought that
the
was a little weird. Um,
you can't even really tell it's him, except for
yeah,
that one part when he's like in the car and he's like talking to him and stuff and he starts
that little
yelling.
outburst. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, that's a Nick Cage.
yeah. When he was just like the killer, like 80% of the time when he's not going crazy or being loud, he seemed like a different person.
Mhm.
And then I wasn't expecting I guess the makeup or prosthetics of his face. So in that beginning scene, I was like,
Yeah, because he kind of like pops up for the first
yeah,
time and you're like, whoa.
I was expecting Nick Cage face, and it was like this weird like
Yeah,
like
because
fatter face, and I was like, oh,
I don't remember him being in the trailers at all. So
I remember his name in the trailers, but not him.
yeah, so it's kind of surprised when you first see him. What do you think of the main character?
I liked her. I've only known her, I think, from It Follows as the main.
Yeah, she's kind of a horror actress because she was on that Watcher movie that I watched a while
I
back.
didn't watch that one.
Still on
Um,
Hulu. I don't know if you would
um,
like it though.
but yeah, I thought she did a really good job. I don't, as your partner, like she's like, it's kind of funny when he's like, "Hey, you want to go meet my family?" And she's like, "Do I have a choice?" Or
Oh
else
yeah.
it's something like that. And it's like, I don't really want to.
She was a little weird. She's like
Yeah,
a little, yeah, she's strange. She's like
I
that
wouldn't, I
whole
wouldn't take
time.
her in the to meet my family.
Yeah, the
She's
whole time in that family part, she just like doesn't want to stare at or look at them. She's just very quiet.
when they're asking her to come
But
to the
that
birthday
family,
party.
yeah, that family was a little weird too.
Yeah,
They were like super nice.
I like most of like I like those characters until the end.
Yeah, the end is weird because like that's kind of where I had a problem with like not making sense because it says like the entity. So it's pretty much the devil, right? Because he calls it the man
Yeah.
downstairs or whatever. So we're supposed to believe that like the devil puts some of his essence in these dolls that he sends to the family. If for some reason that possesses the families, but for some reason they say they use good people. And I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. Like, why would good people fall under the
Oh, like more
possessions?
than like bad people.
Yeah, and like they target like specifically religious people or and stuff like that. So I don't that didn't make too much sense to me, but I guess that's how they wanted to go with it. Knowing the director, so the director is actually Anthony Perkins' son, who is of course from Psycho, the main guy from Psycho. I can't I remember his name.
Norman Bates?
Yeah, Norman Bates. So and when you read about, like, I was reading about it, it makes a lot more sense of like why he went, what he did with this movie, because it's kind of about how his dad was treated, because um, treated by his mom and stuff like that. Because I mean, you could go read it. I won't spoil that kind of stuff for you, but so it kind of makes more sense of why they did what they did. The ending was really, I don't know if I liked it or not. I kind of don't like the ending. How did you feel about it?
I just don't like how the I don't like how the dad act like the family acted.
Yeah.
Like I could see the little girl being like fixated on the doll and kind of being like swayed a little
Hmm.
because like The Exorcist, like the little girl in that was possessed. I guess it's because it's
And
easier to
that one
influence
makes,
younger
yeah,
people.
because like in the beginning of that one, she's like using a Ouija board and stuff like that. So it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Um, it didn't make sense like that he's like, oh, we're gonna cut the cake. And the wife's like, I guess we're gonna go cut the cake now. She didn't like struggle right there.
Hmm.
It also didn't make sense like why she didn't go help at that point.
Yeah, she's just kind of frozen the whole time.
Yeah. And she like lets the stabbings happen without like any kind of fight. And then I would smash that doll even if I didn't have a bullet because she had like
Yeah.
no bullets left. I would just be like,
Yeah. Because
um
she's that's like the very end. It just ends with her going, "We got to get out of here" or something like that, and it just ends. And it was kind of, it felt very rushed, the ending, I guess, because she confronts the mom, and the mom like knocks her out or something, and then she wakes up in Longlegs' basement, and then somehow she gets to their house, and it just like it just went really fast. I didn't felt kind of rushed.
so I'm guessing I want to talk about like the distance of everything. So
Hmm.
in the beginning, like first off, she lives in the most remote house as an
I know.
FBI agent, and I was like, live in the city because
I was
that's
like,
crazy.
"Why do you live in a cabin?" Yeah.
um, So in that first when she's doing all, which I liked when she was like trying to decode like the letters and stuff,
Hmm.
kind of like Zodiac or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, in that scene when there's obviously someone there, I'm guessing that was Nick Cage because she was just talking to the mom, or it could have just been like
Maybe the
the
mom ran
entity
away.
itself,
Oh,
maybe. I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah.
Um, but Nick Cage is like I'm guessing near the mom in that more rural
Yeah,
part
that's
of.
weird because he like lives out of town because you see him like take a bus, or maybe
Oh,
he's
yeah,
leaving.
he's going back from
I don't
that.
know what the heck where he's at. Because then she wakes
Um,
up in his basement, so she's got to be by the
well, I'm
mom.
thinking the basement is just their house, right? They're just
Oh, it was
the
the
mom's
people's
house.
house? Oh,
Yeah.
the mom's house. Oh, okay. That
Because
makes
remember
sense.
that door is locked and she was gonna open it and she couldn't.
Okay, that makes sense. So he was on the bus to go to where she was, like the FBI base was, or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
Because then there
so
was also a moment when
oh
she's in the
yeah.
library where
There's
she was
also
like,
that part where she tries to open the door in her mom's house
yeah.
and she can't get in. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense now. That he was there the whole time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, oh, one thing that bugs me, I guess they do it a lot in lately or like in horror movies or something when they have a part one, two, and three, and it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like the first part where it was like part two was right before she opens the first letter from Longlegs. There was no reason or need for it. Like it just like it was like a commercial break and then letter.
Yeah.
That bugged me, but it was fine on the other two parts, but I don't know.
Okay, so you're the horror guy. Did you think this movie was scary?
Um, that first part was definitely scary. Especially because I didn't expect Nicolas Cage to look like that. I was very
Mhm.
like, oh man. Um, and then there's some other parts where it was like kind of a jump scare.
Hmm.
That doll was super creepy when they first found the first doll.
Yeah, and
And
it like
then
opened its eyes.
yeah.
I mean,
And
you totally expected that, but it's still it's kind of like, oh,
I even like the autopsy part because the dude that dude was creepy.
yeah, that dude was creepy.
But I liked how he like I don't know what he did to the ball. He like touched it and it started making noise.
Yeah,
That was cool.
it was weird. He's like, the ball is empty, but we're not gonna break it open.
Maybe he was possessed for a little bit or
Maybe, yeah.
influenced. I like the mood in like the
Yeah.
atmosphere. It wasn't too creepy though, especially because it went fully supernatural at the end.
Hmm.
If I like I said, if it was more ambiguous, I think it'd be like perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
I think,
you can still have
yeah.
like the spirit, like the supernatural stuff, but shoot it or write in a way where like you're just like, was it? Maybe.
Hmm.
Um,
Like you
but
said,
yeah.
like put stuff in the corner or stuff. Because like
Hmm.
when they portray the entity or whatever, the devil or whatever, they kind of just like show like him as a shadow, if you remember that.
What part was that?
So there's a part where there's a couple times they show him. They show him like as a shadow. I can't remember. He's like over someone. He's got kind of the goat head, kind of form of the devil. And then
Oh,
there's another form where it's like a person with a black cloth on. And
oh,
then,
that was him.
yeah, because you could like see red eyes in there and stuff like that. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was one of the dolls with the black like blanket over it because it was during that part when they're giving out the dolls, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I guess it's one being like
Yeah,
surprise.
but I guess I could see it on my TV. I don't know if you could see it on anything, but it shows like a
Mhm.
face with like red eyes and
Oh,
stuff.
I didn't. Yeah, my TV didn't pick that up.
Um,
What did you think of the interrogation scene?
oh, with Nick Cage. Yeah, it was okay. When he starts like slamming his head, I was like, why don't you stop him or something? It's this,
She never acts.
yeah, the main character never does anything. She like shoot him or something, but and then they
Are
get
you
all,
there? You would think there'd be guys like just outside the door, like
hmm,
every interrogation, but they took like 10 minutes to get in there, and then they
yeah.
didn't stop him. They were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. What about this? I thought the scene was more disturbing when they go and talk to the victim at the
Oh, that little girl,
yeah at the
or I guess
asylum.
she's not a little girl, but
I
yeah,
thought,
she was like off-putting.
hmm
And then she's like, "Oh, I liked when she was like, I'd be pleased as peaches to kill you.
yeah.
Do it in an instant."
It's like, yeah, yeah. So for
Um,
me, it wasn't scary as much as it was disturbing. It was like a very disturbing, more one of the most disturbing movies I've seen in a while. Um,
because you
so
could see cult people doing that.
yeah, so that's
Um,
what yeah, another thing why you might have left it more ambiguous is
yeah.
play up the cult part of it, but yeah. So it
This
was
movie, this movie had good music too. Like there's some songs in this, and I was like,
oh yeah, the
oh,
oldies that they play.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, what would you grade this one? I guess
This is probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while.
really.
Yeah, just like the atmosphere is really good. I'm a sucker for atmosphere. If a horror movie has good atmosphere, then it gets like a good grade. So yeah, this is probably like,
Yeah, the lighting's very cool. Like even in the cabin,
hmm
where it's like the forest and it's like all foggy, but the cabin's lights are on and stuff.
I even
Uh,
like the cuts, like the like you were saying, where we cut to, like those red frames with like the snakes and stuff like that.
mhm.
I like those. Yeah, I'd give it an A, like an A, like
Really that high?
probably like B
Even with the
plus.
ending, because the ending
Yeah, I
kind
thought
of brings it
that.
down.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
It's
dang it.
probably like B plus. Yeah,
Mm.
very disturbing. It's like I don't even know how to describe. It's kind of like that Black Rainbow movie, I guess, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
I like. Yeah, somewhere around there, and then kind of like Mandy, which had Nicolas Cage in it, because those were cultists too. And then it got really like supernatural at the end for some
Oh,
reason.
really?
Mm. Um, but yeah, if you just made it a little more ambiguous, I think it'd been a solid A.
Yeah, me too. All right. So tell us what you guys thought, and subscribe to the channel, throw us some likes, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.